Imagine if you could click a button and have your own team of AI agents process your raw survey data into well-organized crosstabs. No more waiting on or paying for data processors. Well, AG2 lets you do that. Hi, I'm Jason Sanders. I'm going to show you how AG2 is a game changer for survey data processing. AG2 is an advanced AI framework that can coordinate teams of intelligent agents for various tasks, such as creative content generation or sophisticated analytical tasks. In this video, I'm highlighting a specific practical use case for market research, using AG2 to streamline survey data processing. To achieve this, I'm using some Python code that instructs AG2's AI agents to automatically identify the structure of the survey data and dynamically generate Python scripts to produce frequency tables, crosstabs, and even chi-square analyses. The result? Instead of waiting potentially days for processed data, you'll receive structured analytical outputs within minutes. Let's break down how AG2 achieves this efficiency. For this example, I'm going to create 3 agents and have them engage in a group chat. First is the planner agent. This agent acts as the strategist, outlining the required tasks such as generating frequency tables, crosstabs, and chi-square analysis. Next is the programmer agent. This agent writes the Python code on the fly based on the data structure it recognizes. And finally, we have the code executor agent. This agent executes the generated code and compiles the outputs into a comprehensive report. In a moment, we'll go over to the code to take a closer look. But first, let's examine the survey data. A couple of years ago, I fielded a survey about cryptocurrencies to approximately 177 general respondents in the US. The results are contained in the CSV file that you can see on my screen here. For simplicity's sake, I included in this data file just 5 primary questions along with 5 demographic questions. Let's take a quick look at them. So the first question is, have you ever heard or read about cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum? Then, how familiar are you with cryptocurrencies in general? What's your overall opinion of cryptocurrencies? Which of the following statements applies to you? This question basically is intended to gauge present and past cryptocurrency ownership. How likely are you to purchase cryptocurrency in the future? And then the 5 demographic questions. Overall, how would you rate your computer skills? This is not a classic demographic question, but I'm treating it as such in this case, in this survey. How old are you? Which of the following best describes your education status? What's your gender? And what is your current annual household income level? So what I'd like AG2 to do is create frequency tables for each of these questions, create crosstabs for each of these primary questions crossed against each of the demographic questions, and then finally run a chi-square analysis on the crosstabs. So next, let's go and take a closer look at the code within AG2 to see how this is all done. Here's the Python code which generates the agents for the group chat. I'm going to walk you through it briefly and then run it to show you it in action. So at the top here, I'm importing the required libraries as well as the necessary classes and functions from the AG2 framework. Below that, here, I'm retrieving the OpenAI API key and I'm defining the configuration for the LLM. In this case, I'm using the OpenAI GPT-4o model. Below that, I'm defining here a utility function to read the schema of the CSV file containing the survey data. And it's only reading the first 5 rows for efficiency purposes. Now, here I'm running the main function, which creates the group chat that processes the survey data into the frequency tables, the crosstabs, and the chi-square analysis. Here, I'm defining the planner agent who is responsible for outlining a high level strategy and is not responsible for writing any code. And incidentally, here in the system message is where I provide the information to the agent. So, for example, I'm telling this agent that it's a skilled planner, that it doesn't write any code, and it suggests a plan of action to solve the user's query, etc., etc. Below this, I'm defining the programmer agent who's responsible for writing code related to creating the frequency tables, the crosstabs, and the chi-square analysis. Below that, I'm defining the executor agent who is responsible for executing the code created by the programmer. Now, down here, I'm creating the group chat among the planner, the programmer, and the executor agents. And below that, I'm instantiating the group chat manager here that will facilitate the message passing and control flow between the agents. Now, here is where I'm defining the path to the CSV file that contains all the survey data. Below that, I've created the initial message that will be sent to the group chat manager here when this group chat is kicked off. And I'm providing the manager multiple pieces of information. First, I'm providing the location of the CSV file that contains all of the survey data. And I'm providing instructions to create frequency tables, create cross tabulations, perform chi-square tests on each of the crosstabs, create a final report that includes all the frequency tables, crosstabs, and chi-square tests, and finally save the report in a new file called surveyresults.md. And down here is where I am initiating the chat amongst the agents that I created. And the initial message is here that I just went over up here. The initial message is being sent to the group chat manager, and then the group chat manager will orchestrate the planner agent, the programmer agent, and the executor agent to complete these tasks that are outlined for it. So that's a brief overview of the code. And what I'd like to do next is actually run it so you can see a group chat in real time. Now, to run this group chat, what I'm going to do is simply click on this button here, run Python file. And when I do so, you'll see a terminal open at the bottom part of this screen. And in this terminal is where we'll be able to see the agents interacting with each other. So I'm going to go ahead and click this button. And I'm going to make this terminal a bit bigger here. And in a moment, we should start to see the agents interacting with each other. And that's what's happening. So here we can see the instructions coming in. Planner is creating a plan. And here you can see the schema is being determined, the schema of the CSV file. the code has been written to create the crosstabs, the frequency tables, and chi-square analysis. And the script has been executed successfully, and the report has been generated, and it has been saved. And you can see all of this took probably less than 10 seconds. So it took probably less than 10 seconds for the agents to read the CSV file, write the Python scripts needed to create the tables, and then save it to file. And let's go ahead and take a look at the file and see what it looks like. So it's been saved here. I'm going to click on it. Let me minimize this, and I'm going to click this here to make it a little bit easier to read. And so we can see here all of the frequency tables have been created for each of the questions. And then as we scroll down, we'll see the cross tabulations and the chi-square test results. So for example, here we have the first question. Have you ever heard or read about cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum crossed by overall, how would you rate your computer skills? And we see the cross tabulation and the chi-square analysis. So that's pretty impressive and pretty fast. And incidentally, you can see here, it's just the raw numbers, and you can easily provide within the instructions. If you recall, if we go back to let's go back to the instructions here, you can be a little more granular if you want. I just asked for cross tabulations, and I didn't explain necessarily that I wanted percentages versus just the raw number of responses. So you can basically use this area here, the initial message, to refine and make changes or go into greater detail of what you would like the agents to do. So that's pretty impressive. Again, as I said, it took these agents probably less than 10 seconds to complete this task. I hope this demonstration was helpful. In an upcoming video, I'll show you how to assemble another team of intelligent AG2 agents to analyze these tables and generate a summary report with actionable recommendations. If you're interested in exploring the full code behind today's demonstration, check out the links in the video description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.